Hello, welcome to this video. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. First off, massive apology. I'm gonna be sucking on a cough drop for this whole video so I can bear talking to you guys. Not because you guys suck to talk to, just my tonsils still suck, so that's fun. This car right here, if you don't remember the story, I got it because it was really cheap, and the idea of having like an S15 thrash car, kind of like the Chaser, was really alluring. A lot of stuff surfaced about all the crashes this car's been into, ditches, trees, Instagram clout wars, you name it, this car's been through it. I'm aware underneath the frame rail is kind of like crunch, but I've never seen it for my own eyes. So what I wanted to do in this video before I start, well actually I will be starting to tear apart a car. What I wanted to do in this video was to pull the fenders off, put the car in the air for the first time and see how bad the damage really is. Driving the car around, it certainly creaks more than any chassis I've ever driven. I'm hoping it's just bushings or a subframe that needs work or maybe cracked or something. But my goal at least is to get an idea of how intensive this project is gonna be, because I really wanna just kind of tinker on this thing. The guys are gonna have their hands full once the S15's back that I just crashed into the wall, not this one. And I want to be able to work on something on the side. I don't feel like starting the RX-7 project myself because, well, that requires a higher level of work that I'm in the mood to do, or this thing I can just kind of throw parts on and it should be fun. So first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start pulling these fenders off and see if there's any hidden rust or damage beneath them. What kind of sorcery bullshit is this, dude?
How'd they freaking get it on in the first place?
I give up on working on cars.
Let's go play log.
Yeah. God, they make it look so much easier on YouTube.
You should re-say that and say it, make it look so much easier in Fast and Furious.
Unfortunately, me taking these fenders off means they're probably never going to go back on. I know a lot of you guys really like them. They're cool and different, but the thing is I don't want to buy the front bumper and rear bumper that this car is missing because they're really expensive, and I would rather just put on the old Vertex Gant that I have laying around from my Pro 2 season. It's like my favorite kit ever, and I've been looking for an excuse to put it on a car, so I'll probably go on this guy. Are you ready?
Ready.
And doesn't look that bad.
No. He tucked the harness at some point, or someone tucked the harness at some point.
So I thought the harness was going to be way more screwed than this, if I'm being honest. That was kind of one of the first things that I predicted finding out. But all this little surface rust is super common on S15s. They're one of the worst. If you guys watch Jimmy Oaks' channel, I'm sure he's gone into great detail on that. This car, given its history, is surprisingly clean. I'm pretty happy with it. I don't plan on painting the bay or like painting this area or anything, but the car is going to end up getting a full respray. I guess I can kind of tell you my plans as we go through with everything. I want this to be my Drift HQ demo car. So I need to have a Drift HQ green car, and I feel like this one's a perfect candidate for it. I'd love to have Ray paint this whole thing Drift HQ green and just be a mean green, happy machine. Sill is good. That's not bad. Yeah. I just putting my handy dandy tool tray here. Real nice OEM hardware used on this thing.
Love that. That's Lowe's right there.
He actually worked at Lowe's, so he knows. All right, what do we got here?
Not bad. Same deal. Little surface.
So just so you guys are aware, I'm not really scared of this car. Mike put on camera my Chaser and how bad it was when we got that thing. The firewall on my Chaser, like this area right here, is pushed so far in that Mike's poor little feet had no room to go anywhere during Drift Week.
This is how my feet look like on Drift Week, just like crossed sideways.
If we're yelling, it's not because we're mad at you, it's because it's raining really hard right now.
Very loud outside.
Yeah, I'm pretty pumped on this. It's a lot cleaner than I expected.
Yeah.
All right, rear fenders are coming off. I'm pumped they're actually on with riv nuts, not just all riveted on.
Yeah.
It's like he knew I wanted to take it apart. So one thing I am aware is that underneath this, we're gonna need to redo the whole fender trimming job.
Yeah. Honestly, I was expecting way worse. I was expecting it to all be cut and folded up and like...
Yeah, so it's not done terribly. I just know I would rather give ourselves a bit more of a window of clearance.
Oh yeah.
Like on my S15, I think we almost went up to here and we still wish that we went more.
Yeah.
So We'll bring it up higher and then make sure it's really sealed well so we don't have all the smoke and like going in the cabin. Yeah, I agree though. Like so far the car has surpassed my expectations. I mean, this side's cut a little bit more ghetto, but it's still not bad.
Yeah.
It looks like it's decently sealed off too.
Got some interesting patchwork going on there.
I guess it is worth mentioning that this car was owned by someone who cared at one point and was like a really nice build, if you guys don't remember what the photos look like. So I guess it makes sense. Maybe he was the one that cut it and maybe that's why it's not that bad, but overall I'd say we're looking decent. This is interesting though.
Yeah. I don't know why he needed to go that far back.
You never know if the tire's gonna like go in this little crevice.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
It's a joke.
I know.
Look. Me.
Oh.
Stupid wheel keys. How are we
Those
gonna... There's no room to get a tool in those wheels.
That's...
That was the joke. That was why he wanted to sell me a car with the wheels, because he couldn't get them off.
Ah.
I've never met a car in my life that creaks this much. Even just pulling it on the lift, like, it sounds like it's falling apart.
When you were pulling on, it sounded like you were rubbing the fenders, but you don't have fenders.
I know. And I'm very curious what actually is going on. All right. So this is what I was most aware about.
Oh yeah.
It's definitely not the straightest tool in the shed. You know what's funny? One of the things on my parts list, Radiant makes these cool little hangers for like aftermarket fuel line that go to the
the frame is already
the frame nail. But they're not gonna bolt to this.
No. I mean, your frame's holding it up now anyway.
So the question is this something I try to fix and repair, or do I just leave it? I don't think this is what's causing my creaks, because my creaks are coming from over here.
Yeah, I would just leave it.
What the?
That from my car. Don't worry about that. It's AC water.
Does that have AC?
It's AC water. Exhaust has seen some better days. I'm curious to see what you board slid.
Probably this.
Bar's cracked here.
I don't even know. Those are aftermarket. Interesting.
Yeah.
Suspect.
They're definitely sus.
Still has rubber factory bushings on the subframe. I think I'm going to change those out for poly. I don't want to go solid, because if we ever take this thing in drift week, the diff noise is going to drive us nuts.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about, for the first time ever, since I've never had an S14 or an S15 like build like this, I'm going to do the 350Z rear diff conversion. GK makes a kit for it. Can't do it on an S13 subframe. That's why I have the Q45 ring gear in my S13. But I'd love to do a Z diff on this and do Z axles as well. I don't see anything.
I see that you got some goldfish in the trunk.
Dude, it's like a full bag too.
Yeah, I'm kind of hungry, my guy. Dude, this thing came with goldfish. You're set. Put those in the pocket real quick.
Subframe, I don't like. It's very rusty and gross. So we'll probably abandon the subframe. I have another new one, like just sitting that we can steal. I just want to know where all the creaks are coming from. I'm sure these arms aren't helping in the rear, but it sounded like something's rubbing. What I figured I would do though, to just like rule pretty much everything out, I wanted to do just like, I'll get a set of new ISR arms, I'll do the 350Z rear diff conversion, see if I can swap the bushings out and keep stock lower control arms, because I like stock lower control arms. Sometimes less adjustability is better. Other than that though, in the rear, it doesn't look like it needs that much.
No.
TLC. In the front, it's got this nifty subframe mod. When you don't want to get an adjustable lower, you just drill a hole and move it up. So
that's interesting.
Yeah, some Stan's boy. Oh, it's got a power brace. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
As long as it's not cracked, that'll be useful.
Did a little board sliding on here.
That's probably me. I plan to just have this car be like a cut knuckle car. You actually use the stock lowers, cut knuckles, and you just put a wheel spacer on for the extra clearance. I want to keep it simple. Sometimes more adjustability is more of a pain anyway. Looks like got an oil leak from somewhere.
Looks like rear main, maybe.
I hope not.
Looks like it's coming from above.
Oh yeah.
So
there's a lot of oil leaking out of this thing.
bad valve cover gasket on the back or something.
Yeah, I know there's power steering fluid leaking too at one point. So this thing doesn't have a working rack. I got to send that out to get rebuilt. Maybe I'll pull the rack today so I can start on that. If it is a rear main seal, it's not the end of the world. One of the things that I'm planning to do with this car, the stock 6 speeds are not the strongest. They make an upgraded Nismo one, but I want to try a ZF trans on this. I've never had a ZF trans behind a SR, and I really like the behind the JZ on the E36. So PMC makes a kit. I could put a ZF 6-speed on this, which should be really good for like kind of how I use E36, start in second, and then bounce between like second and third. And then having the 6-speed, I think like kind of as like a highway gear would be useful. Do that with like a 3.7 or a 3.5 in the rear. Just gotta make sure I have a Guido so I don't destroy everything. It does appear to actually have an S15 ball bearing turbo, so that's cool.
Looks like the, not the column, ate some wires.
Oh wow, that's a nice little, that's why the power steering is so difficult.
Ah.
For being honest. I don't want to pull the engine out of this thing, but I probably will.
Better safe than sorry.
I know. Like I said, it's kind of exciting for me. I'm basically just going to be replicating my S13 and an S15, so in terms of knowledge, I feel like I kind of already know a lot of stuff that I want to do. So I made a super quick list of kind of some of the things that I figured I'd fill you guys in on. And normally I wouldn't do this right off the rip with a new build, but I want you guys to let me know in the comments what specifically you want me to go into a lot of detail on. Because a lot of the stuff we've done on my SR-S13 like a bajillion times, but some of the stuff might be a little bit more tricky, or you might want me to dive into more detail. The rear, I pretty much went over everything apart from doing a dual caliper setup. In terms of the front end, pretty much let you guys everything I'm going to do in terms of keeping like a simple cut knuckle setup. But in general, this car will end up with DCs. I'll do an Innovate wideband gauge with a stock ECU. Freddie can tune it. We'll tune it here on the hub dyno. That'll be cool. DW400 fuel pump should be more than enough. I'm going to do 85. The biggest thing that I'm trying to decide right now, the G25 550 is my favorite SR turbo ever. But I'm wondering what you guys would rather see on this. I could do a top mount setup like I have on my S13, or they also have like a direct T2 mount that I could do on this. Leave it internally gated. It probably wouldn't flow as well as the top mount setup would. It might spool a little bit faster being like a stock manifold style and sound kind of cool. But I'm curious what you'd rather see. Both have like pros and cons in terms of serviceability. I hate T2 flanges, but in terms of like stock simpleness, it's kind of cool. I'll redo the cooling system. I already told you guys I want to try the ZF. I'll do some maintenance on the SR, relocate the battery, normal fueling stuff from D-Shorks, injectors, fuel pressure regulator. Overall, it should be like a really simple setup that should end up making somewhere between like 450 and 500 reliably. Literally just like my S13, a little bit cooler and a lot more thrash. I do want to cage this car. Originally I didn't want to because I don't like taking cage cars on Drift Week, and this is supposed to be potentially a Drift Week car, but I've seen so many S chassis get so crumpled up from accidents and crashes, and frankly I think I want a cage there. So I'll see if I can get a nice set of door cards made up by someone. That way I can fit a little bit wider cage rather than having it in my S13 where to fit the stock door panels I have it kind of like really tight. It'd be nice to have a little bit more of a buffer. Changing racks and S chassis is probably my most like proud talent for a while, just because I was changing a rack in the S13 like, I don't know, maybe like once every other drift event, because I kept on mushrooming out my threads in my rack because I was using those annoying rack offset spacers. So I got real good at it. Done it in so many parking lots, random people's garages, lifts, you name it. Ow. You're getting rebuilt now. I am happy to finally let you guys know that the compound bundles have officially started shipping. In addition to the shovels taking forever, we actually wound up reprinting all the books. There was like a huge quality control issue and I wasn't cool with sending them how they were, but these ones came out super sick. I'm not gonna show you everything because it's supposed to just be for the people that got the bundle, but we did have some returns on the compound bundles. So once we ship all of them out and they're all to the hands of the people that have been waiting so patiently, we will probably have a few dozen that we can release in case you missed out. Just a reminder, if you guys want to set a reminder, 4 p.m. tomorrow on Tuesday is when the Viper LZMFG chair collab is dropping. I predict there to be some surprise at the price of these chairs. Let me just preface this by saying these aren't gonna be huge money makers. I made a very small amount of them. The way I looked at it, it's a really cool product. It's something that I wanted to have here, and the opportunity to co-brand with a very, very nice chair I thought was cool, and I thought that some of you guys might enjoy it. They're certainly not for everyone, but it's one of those things that I know the people that do buy them are gonna be beyond stoked with it. So if you are interested, the link will be in the description. I guess it won't because they're not being live till tomorrow. So set a reminder, but anyway, that's your reminder. Probably not the smartest thing to do. I've been really itching to work on a car, so me and Sean are gonna tag team this thing and see if we can pull the SR out of it in like sub an hour, which should be really doable since it doesn't have AC or anything. Probably doesn't need to come out, but it's just one of those things. I really want this car to just be like sound, solid, and there's just like a bunch of little random leaks and random stuff to where I feel like I'll have a better peace of mind if I pull it out and just like look at it on a stand, go through it on a stand, and then might as well paint the engine bay and stuff while we have it out. So you know how this goes, how this ends up happening, and things kind of start to creep and get a little crazy. Rather, now I feel like I should replace the core. It's not that bad. It gets so difficult. Once I pull the engine out, it'll be a little bit easier because then we can like see what's going on and stuff. And I can mate the adapter kit outside of the car and stuff. But okay, engine pull now. It's 2:05. How long will it take us to pull out SR? Let's find out. God damn, the wrong tool! You stole my socket! I swear it fit before. Start over! So the plan is we're gonna tackle separate sides. We're just gonna focus on pulling the engine for now. The whole engine bay is gonna need to get stripped, but right now, we just wanna get it out of there. Little things make it a little bit more difficult, like when the fans are hardwired and there's 0 plugs or connections. Honestly, dude, I'll just cut the wires. I don't really care. I'm gonna put new fans in anyway. Snip. Checking in, half hour, and car's going up. Take off some final bolts. I think we'll do it in under an hour. Pretty close. Ain't bad. It's a little bit more of a pain than it needed to be, but. 3:03, just under an hour. Not too bad. There's a cool term here. It says Team Bald Head? Yeah. I wonder if Tommy owned this engine at one point. You get a close up of that? Yeah. I think working on a 34 kind of ruined me. Now looking at this again, S chassis are so much more simple. Everyone's mad at me because I kept calling the R chassis a S chassis in the video the other day. I know they're not the same, but they're kind of the same. Yep, she's ready. Ray said he'll be able to paint this like as soon as next week, so we got our work cut out for us taking this stuff out, but he'll strip it out. Sean, what do you think? Battery in the trunk? Yes. Yeah, I like the battery in the bay, but at the same time, I don't know. Stoked to get rid of all this.
Well, then you can keep your battery and your goldfish in your trunk.
Anyway, thanks for watching today's video. We did what we wanted to do. We got this thing torn apart a bit more. I'm excited for this car. It's gonna be a cool, neat little simple project. The engine's in great shape. Just needs a little re-gasket love. Supposedly it's forged too, so that's cool. I might pull off the pan just to verify before we go throw 30 pounds of boost at it. Thanks for watching.
When you said